Safety Bikeways Pedestrian Committee on Thursday, November 21st. First of rule of business, we'll approve the minutes, but I hear there were some edits.
Yes, the chair was absent, so Hirsch called the meeting to order.
Where was that? Oh,
I guess I did do that.
yeah.
I did do that.
Are there any other comments on the minutes? Then do I hear a motion to accept with the change?
I move we accept the minutes with the change.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right.
Was it David who seconded?
No.
Oh, Matt, thank you.
Okay, minutes are approved as edited. Next order of business is the appearance of interested persons, and I have 3 on our list, and I believe you're all here together, right? Okay, come on up. You can bring an extra chair with you so you can all sit together. I'm sorry? Oh, yeah.
And you might want to turn one of the lights off in your pocket.
Yes.
If there's,
No, I spoke with you. It's not too bad.
we're all set, the lights on. Really close to the mic.
Okay, and how are we doing? Thanks for coming in. I know you put in an application for the NTMPM process. Thank you for being the first one with the new update. We'd love to hear any feedback you have. For all of us, the application was in the packet. The city does not, excuse me, first of all, I'm getting over a cold, so if I lose my voice, I'm going to tap out and Brenda's going to take over. Thank you. I will keep you in mind as the evening progresses. Lost my train of thought. Oh, the city has not updated the website enough to have the application electronic as we were leading up to. So at this point, it's still paper. So what we have in front of us is the current method of application, but hopefully eventually it will become more of what is laid out in the plan itself. Okay, what can you tell us?
Great. So my name is Janine Kidd, and I have lived on Park Meadow since 2013. When we first moved in, the traffic was, I thought, very reasonable for being on the main entryway for the Meadows. And we're kind of right in between the Meadows and Kaiser Prairie, I think is the other one. And so we were pleased that the traffic was, slow and not a lot of traffic. And I will say between 2013 and 2024, it's night and day. And it is almost like a drag strip out there. And, once people come through the 4-way stop at Meadow Glen and heading towards Wheatland, so heading west, it opens up and boy, do they. And they just take off and just fly down there. And then equally, and we're like 4 houses from the 4-way stop. When they come from Wheatland to the 4-way stop, I mean, they are just racing up there. And it's, we have a lot of walkers. We have a lot of families that walk with their pets and people walking to school because we're right around the corner from Clear Lake. And I'm just concerned that it's just a matter of time before we just have a horrible accident out there. So I appreciate your plan because I'm a process person and I loved that it was all laid out. And so Ron originally approached the Meadows Maintenance Association about a conversation and request he'd had about maybe putting a speed sign, a speed limit with the flashing indicator. And so I support, whatever can be done or should be done or could be done. And reading through the plan, we wanted to go ahead and submit the application and see what the city might do. So that's,
Excellent.
Good evening. I'm Daniel Kidd, and I've been in Park Meadows since 2013 also. And I do a lot of outside activities and stuff, all types, and like my wife said, it has gone from night and day, from 2013 to 2024. And it's not just vehicles, it's motorcycles. There's all kinds of things going out there nowadays. That's, bicycles that are, 30 miles an hour now, electric bikes that are scooting around kids and everything. So it's definitely become worrisome for us. We don't have any young kids at ours, but there's grandkids and stuff around that play and stuff, and it's scary out there anymore, especially in a school zone. We're right at the edge of our school zone.
Are you finding they're speeding through the school zone as well?
Oh, yeah.
Is it flash or is it
Yeah,
just
they
a
leave from
standard?
once they enter Meadow Glen, right before that is the start of the school zone, and then right at the end of school zone, so that whole distance right there is just, and going into it also, because they come into the school zone right at the edge of, well, half a block from Meadow Glen, and it's just constant right through there.
He's showing me a map, that's what I'm looking at.
yeah. There's no
I need a
flashing
map.
light or anything for the school zone. It's
Oh.
very, very short. There's pavement markings for a school crossing, but that's it.
Okay, okay.
Well, my name is Roger Hawley, and I guess I started this, however you want to put it. We moved into the house, had it built in 1995. We were the last available lot on Park Meadow, so I've been there quite a while. And the traffic has gotten terrible compared to what it used to be. While I was with the fire department, we had a couple accidents out there, and I'm former law enforcement, so I'm kind of a pain in the butt, I know that. We had one neighbor to say, quit yelling at people, they're gonna start shooting at you, and I said, well, yeah, that happens. But anyway, the speeds out there, they range anywhere from, I drive 25 on there, period. I don't care who's behind me, it doesn't make a bit of difference. I have been passed on Park Meadow. Yeah, not good. And the school zone starts right on our property, right on the very edge of our property is where we're 1099. We are the third house west of Meadow Glen. And that's where it starts. And like I said, the traffic out there, again, will range up, sometimes up to 45, 50 miles an hour. It's not uncommon. Every so often, we get the guys now on the little mini bikes will come flying through there. Kids, unfortunately, fortunately, we have a lot of kids in the neighborhood now. And when they fly down the street on their bicycles and this and that, and because they don't look when they're crossing the street, I learned long ago, I always back in the driveway. My wife doesn't because our daughter's wheelchair bound. But I always back in, that way I can see better. And when I was with the fire department, that was suggested. So we do it that way. In the past, they have put some of the mobile speed limit signs out there, the, cart with the flashing, so you your speed. To me, and that only does good while it is there. Someone's going to, if they see that, they're going to slow down. They're thinking, okay, maybe this is being recorded. Maybe there's a camera there. They'll slow down. The instant it's gone, the speeds pick back up again. Unfortunately, it's just, it's like the kid that, sitting in the back of the classroom spitting spitballs. If the teacher's not looking, he's going to do it.
Right.
It's kind of that same way. I know of two accidents out there. One, wife was out working in the yard, and we had a rollover accident right across the street from us. Fell asleep. And the other, they actually hit and run my daughter's car. I found them. So it's long overdue. It is long overdue. And I understand, there's, occasionally we have officers out there, and I know how busy they are. I've got several friends that are with Kaiser PD, and I support them 1,000%, especially that new chief. He's a pretty good guy. But something needs to be done, and we're asking you guys for your help in getting this done. When I first brought this up, I started talking to Mayor Clark, and Just getting some different signs. My first suggestion was putting some totally sanitary cars out there with radar in them, unmarked, complete, clean, to get an accurate speed limit, the speed of what the people are doing. And I understand that's tough to do as well, but we can't always do that. And she suggested, I think it's called the calming lights. I've heard somebody say that. Yeah, yeah. And it's, no, that's okay.
There's a whole group of things that you can use for calming devices, including humps.
Right, yeah.
Not speed bumps, but speed humps.
Yeah, and I am sure that the area east of us, east of Meadow Glen, has the same issues. But, we didn't talk to anybody. We did put some flyers out about the meeting, but some people, they just don't want to get involved. I've seen too many accidents, I've been on too many accidents, and we need help. So we're asking you for your help.
Well, you came to the right place, and this is the correct process to follow. So a few of the things you've mentioned will be the process that we take you through. But at this point, can I ask, have we been aware of this before? And what have we looked at already?
So I've been on traffic since 2018. There used to be three of us. Sergeant Leday retired, and my other partner is currently on day shift. So right now, the traffic enforcement, specifically for enforcement, is me. So I'm pretty stretched. As far as, I saw this on the agenda the other day, and it actually caught me off guard, because from 2018, I found in 2022, we keep a spreadsheet of all the requests for the speed trailers, and it was out there in 2022, and that's the only time that we had, which would indicate, I'm not saying it's 100%, but would indicate that was the last time we knew about a traffic complaint. So I was unaware of a speeding complaint on Park Meadow. I haven't been notified of those complaints or a specific time to go out and try to, if there's a, time frame that they go to try to enforce. I did see that, when it was on there the other day. I went out in a patrol car and I sat there hidden behind other cars. And I was only able to sit there for a short period of time. It was about 2:30. The top speed I saw was 30 miles an hour. I don't know what time frame that these vehicles are going past. Please don't just tell me every day, all day, because I can't sit there every day, all day. If we can limit it, restrict it down to a certain time frame, I can try some enforcement. But I know where we're headed is we're probably going to have to do a speed survey. Similar to what you mentioned, it's not a sterile car. It's actually just a box that mounts on a tree or a sign pole. It tracks all cars, doesn't take pictures, just tracks numbers, flat, how many cars go this way, how many cars go this way, and their speeds and at time. So that will probably be the next step.
You're welcome to put that at my house if you like.
Well, I can't necessarily promise your house.
No,
because
I don't, but-
there's certain radar, it depends on where a sign pole or light pole or something that would fit that has good visibility. If you're law enforcement, the radar, how it works in the 10 degrees. So I'll have to go out and find a spot. And
Some of the biggest times right now are the morning when they're taking their kids to school. It's just zip, zip, zip. The people taking their kids into school, and they're hauling fanny. And as I mentioned in some of my paperwork, the stop sign is just a suggestion to some of the folks, and unfortunate as it is. But yeah, and we get a lot of construction trucks out there. All these houses are getting older and stuff, so, matter of fact, today they're putting up a new fence next door. So the street I know the street says it's 2-lane, and it is, theoretically, but it's 36.5 feet from curb to curb. And when you have two vehicles parked across from each other, and then you're not gonna get two other vehicles going together. So, but yeah, and I've talked to some of the officers offhand sometimes, because I'm friends with Kinnison and several of the others, and one of you retirees used to come out there and sit on his motorcycle once in a while. It's been a while. Yeah.
Go ahead, Dave.
I have a couple questions, and you kind of referred to it. You said in the morning, these are people going to school. They would be going north-south on Meadow Glen?
Yeah, well, actually, most of them are coming from two directions, but the ones that we see the most are the ones that are going eastbound from Wheatland Road and turning north, turning north on Meadow Glen. They're going to
Okay,
Clear
so they're
Lake Elementary.
speeding on both those streets then?
Yeah,
Except they only have a half a block, or a block to speed on Meadow Glen.
yeah, correct, yeah.
I
it's
live
just-
I live across the street from you, so.
Yeah.
I mean, I live on Hazelbrook, which is, I'm down there a lot.
Yeah,
That's one, okay. So I was wondering if they were speaking, if they're speeding there going to school, we would assume there would be a lot of speeding on the north side of the grade school. What's the one that comes down off of Wheatland down, I can't remember the name of it.
There isn't a road that accesses from the north to the school.
Barnum, it's,
There's a road, but it doesn't get into the school.
No, but they drop the kids off there.
Yeah, I don't know what that.
yeah, that's
So we'll
strictly,
assume that there's traffic there too. So the people are coming in off of that stretch of houses on the west side of, Wheatland Road, and then they're coming down Park, I just try to picture it in my mind where they're coming from. Are there a lot of speeders within, say, between River Road, who live between River Road and Wheatland? Is that who's,
I think,
It
no, I
seems that's
think
who's driving
most,
there.
most are out of there, most are coming from Wheatland Road or coming from the apartments. The shortest way to get to River Road is Park Meadow. That's the only straight access right now.
up there, yeah.
Yeah, from there. And so if somebody is going to head north on River Road and they live on the other side of Wheatland or Wheatland in that area, it's much shorter for them to come Park Meadow than it is to go to Brook Lake
I
and
think
go.
I live there and drive it, once or twice a day, so I would suspect they need some education, because that's not the best way to go, but if
Yeah.
you're trying to get to River Road, Brook Lake Road's way better and faster, it's got a 45-mile-an-hour speed limit, 50, and 55 in places. I just want to mention this, up where the apartments are, up towards Wheatland Road, there are always cars parked on both the left and right side of the road. I don't have any problem driving through there with traffic coming towards me, so there's plenty of room. You can't go fast. You have to slow down to maybe 15, 20 miles an hour, but there's lots of room for 4 cars abreast on Park Meadow, everywhere.
Yeah, there is. But
So-
when you get in there, like you say, you've got to slow down.
Yeah.
Problem is, they don't slow down. You and I do, but the majority don't,
Okay.
you know.
And the other one is, we need because time of day, because when I'm there, I would say that's a very lightly traveled road. And I use it if I'm going, I don't know where I'd be going, going to the tavern, but, for dinner. When I'm on it, it doesn't seem like hardly ever, maybe 2 cars, 3 cars coming towards me on each, once or twice a day
On Park Meadow,
on Park Meadow.
I would.
I must just be hitting odd. Of course, I'm old, I don't drive when everybody else does, so.
No, there is a lot of traffic out there. There's a lot of, for one thing, landscaper trucks and trailers and there's the city bus, there's the school buses that go up and down there.
Yeah,
So there's a lot of traffic on there. And if we put something out there that would meter that traffic, that's going to tell us, and
Okay.
perhaps I'm wrong, but I do a lot of yard work. So,
so you're outside, yeah.
yeah, I'm out there a lot and, and we hear it and, unfortunately, we hear it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I notice it, also commuter traffic, people speeding to get home and, get their dinner made and whatnot,
So they live near you.
we're almost across the street.
I mean, they live
Oh.
in that, what I was called the Park Meadow block chunk.
I wouldn't say that, no, because I think a lot of the folks are transitioning from Wheatland Road area going towards River Road, or coming from River Road going back towards Wheatland Road or in that area. It's a main, and you've lived there a long time, I think.
Yeah.
and yeah. So,
Since 2003 or something.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. We get a lot of traffic there. And again, you know, if maybe that, what you're talking about, putting an indiscriminate box out there or something that would get a count on cars and speeds, that would.
So we need some, my problem is, I go for, like, I walk on Wheatland Road, and it always seems to me, when I get home, I go, God, there were some fast cars out there. Actually, there were 3 fast cars. There were 200 going the speed limit.
Right.
And you don't remember them at all. So I'm sure if you're outside, you're not gonna look up with somebody driving 20 miles an hour in front of your house. You're gonna look up with the guy who's doing 60 or whatever. Yeah.
I have kind of 3 questions. One is kind of clarify in my mind your organization. You mentioned that a lot of the issues are around the school and school time. Any of these problems, and I think Officer Powell will back me up, and other people that have been on traffic safety as many years as we have, is that it takes more than just this group and the police. I think, have you talked to the principal and the parent-teacher group at Clear Lake? They
Not
have
for-
some impact.
Yeah. Not
They
for
can
long
at
time.
least get the word out to parents that this is an issue. And because a lot of it is more than just mere enforcement, because we only got so many officers, but an educational thing. And if the timing is, then the school needs to know. Gosh, I hope it's not any of the teachers.
Typically, it's not the typical, and occasionally it is, if they're late for work or something, but we're up early every
Well,
day.
I'm in the
So
same
we-
boat as you, but I'm over by Kaiser Elementary.
Yeah.
So, I do agree that probably the next step is the study, because we don't want to do any engineering building because we have a tight budget in Kaiser, so we need the data to support spending the money. So the next step, it would be seeing if there really is speeding and the times, because then that might change the whole type of, whether it's enforcement or engineering that might, because,
wanted to get her-
because
I need
stop
to
signs
ask.
used to be the old way of stopping traffic. That doesn't work. You have to, there are all sorts of calming devices, including trees. The other thing is for my own personal interest, I see that it's the Meadows Maintenance Organization. Tell me about that. That's not a neighborhood association.
No.
Is that an HOA?
Yes, it is a HOA or a remnant of the HOA for the Meadows Group. We do not have a neighborhood association that's
You
chartered.
need one.
Yes, we do. In fact, I've been reading about it, so I'm gonna,
Talk to me later.
yeah, I'm gonna,
Tammy?
So, thank you.
Sure. Do we need a motion to, I'm not quite clear the steps, I could just say, why don't you do it? But I think we need a motion to the city council to request, is that how that works? What do we need?
The plan itself, the program will take it through it.
Okay, so we don't need a motion or anything, it's just gonna happen. We're gonna go out and get some data.
I think we all.
Road I was
expected
thinking
that.
of was Merlot that goes off Wheatland and drops right into the back of the grade school. I mean, I walk it all the time, I just couldn't remember the name of it.
in the
So I was
vineyards.
surprised there wouldn't be a lot of traffic on it. I don't wanna, I don't think
During-
you'd measure it, but,
Prior to the start of school hours and at the end, cars are lined up to get in to the school. And they're lined up on
oh,
Meadow
and
Glen.
then picking up, I was down there the other day and they were picking up kids and they were lined up on a side road a little bit to the north of the school and running east.
Yeah,
And they'd asked the parents to park there and wait.
that's part of it, but it's a constant circle of parents going in, driving through and picking them up. Some parents take to parking on Meadow Glen and some on Park Meadow. They park in front of our house, all the time, which is fine with us.
And wait for the kids to come over?
Yeah, or they walk and get the kids. So,
Okay.
Hirsch, do you have something to add?
Well, it's long range and way out there, but, there is a, development plan for Wheatland Road. And it's on the city's website. The plan has got a lot of input and it's gonna happen, but not in the near future because we're now at the funding phase and get funding may take. Verta Lane is just gonna be starting next year and I was on the committee 15 years ago to get that. But
We're waiting.
so Wheatland and it'll be more calming, some facilities for walkers, bikers, protected bike lanes, all that. But that's not gonna affect what you guys.
We hope we get to see it.
Yeah, we hope. we
it
get
takes
to see
time,
it.
and we understand that. We all understand it. It takes time. It's not something that you're gonna snap your fingers and it's gonna be done tomorrow. We know that, we understand it.
Could you, do you know anybody that could contact the principal at that school?
My wife just happens to know her.
Okay, if she could discuss
We'll do
the
that,
issue
yeah.
that would be brought up like at PTA or in a memo to parents,
Yeah, sending notes home or.
that might slow
know.
some people down, a couple of,
Yeah, and, it just takes once, if you get
Yeah.
it once or two.
The
Like I said, I've had people pass me on Park Meadow because I
know.
do drive 25.
Yeah.
I'm one of those pain in the fanny type guys. That's just me.
Well, I can forecast what's gonna happen, and I didn't like it when we did it in other times. We always say, okay, well, yeah, 90% of the people are doing what they're supposed to do, 90%, 80%. You just have a couple dozen people doing 80 down Park Meadow. And I don't know, and with what, I don't know how you catch them, physically with police officers.
Well, that's part of what this survey does. If we see, we're creatures of habit. I go to work, everybody goes to work, typically takes the same route every day at the same time. And if you're speeding on this street, you're gonna speed today, tomorrow, the next day.
And you'll
So
catch
if
'em.
we can find out a pattern of these are the dates and times during the week of high speed, that gives me an idea to where to focus.
What is the duration of the count
It will be
usually?
7 days.
Okay. I would just, we've got school holidays coming up, so can we avoid those?
Yeah, it will be, Thanksgiving, even with right now, I'll be honest, next week is bad. And then even when, now you get into early December,
Right.
with travel and vacations and people and around the holidays, it may be best to do the survey to get the true result into January.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think so.
and that's understandable.
Yeah,
Like I say, I should have started this long ago. But I didn't. I just kept hoping people would slow down, but.
I want to select a time where it's literally a normal work week schedule and it gets the real results.
Yep.
yeah. We'll make sure Ron doesn't put spike strips out between now and then.
Sometimes a rolling jack accident.
I'll
Now,
loan you my oversized pickup and you can park it, parallel park it next to your car.
since we're in this forum, I'll ask, since it's gonna be up to a month or 2 months really before we get that survey out. I can do some targeted enforcement, but if you could provide some, is it morning, like 8 to 9 in the morning, 7:30 to 8:30?
I will get that for you. I will actually keep a good close eye on what time school starts, till school.
Well, if it's just around school hours, I can figure that part
Okay,
out.
yeah, it's around, start of school is the worst of it. And, because people are just in a hurry to get their kids dropped off for daycare or for school. So
But it's
that's-
early morning school
that's-
traffic.
Yeah, probably the worst of it.
Okay.
The heavier traffic is during the, later on during the day when we've got different construction vehicles or this or that, just going up and down. But the school, yeah, that's,
In regard to speed, though.
yes. Well, speed, it's all day.
Go back to that. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I see.
Mike, do you have anything to add for Public Works on this? No? Okay.
I was just gonna say, I like how we redone this application and whatnot in the plan, and as we go through the steps, we kind of tweak it and do different things, and that's what's happening right now, and I think that's great. The end game is to get the data and go from there, so.
Right.
I think that's good.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put it on the spreadsheet, which is our tracking mechanism. And Dawn, can you make a note that come January, let's bring it back up into discussion and see where we're at, and then when the study happens, we'll go from there.
Great.
And then you will be informed, when that will be, so that you can come back and hear what's going on and then talk next steps after that.
All right. Thank you.
We appreciate your time and efforts.
Thanks for bringing it to our attention. Thank you. And we have the letter here, this is from your neighborhood association, right? Ish?
The Maintenance
Yeah.
Association, yes.
It'll
Yes.
be put with the rest, in the packet for,
Okay.
record.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. It doesn't hurt, it's just gone. So if I lose it, it's your turn.
It's just mine.
Yeah, I will sign language with you. Okay, is there anyone else in the room who wants to talk? Okay, no? Moving on to our spreadsheet. This is my favorite part. And I was gone last month because we had Shane come talk to us. I did watch the video after the fact. It looked like it went really well. But you ran out of time, so not much was discussed on this. Not that there's a whole lot going on, but let's see where we're at. Oh, I thought you were saying something. All right, first project is our Lock Haven at McClure, then the new flashing beacon. We were supposed to follow up in November, and Hirsch, as our neighborhood association lead, what can you tell us?
About Newburgh and,
No, the Lock Haven at McClure, the flashing beacon. Did you talk to
it's
the?
in.
Did you have a chance to talk to the school?
Yes, I had both the principal and the CSOC, the liaison and the PTC. They all sent me contact or even talked to me on the phone. They are excited. They thank us. The only issue, they wanted to be an issue, is that parents coming up on McClure, kids are running across the street to get the bus, which is the city bus, and other buses on the other side, which is on the HOA side. And they were just wondering about a crosswalk there, and it's like, probably not, because it is a crosswalk, because it is a street. But as far as the flashing light, crossing guard, everybody likes it.
Excellent.
It's, this thing about crosswalks, which it comes up about every couple of years. I'm well aware that every intersection is a crosswalk. Something about a painted crosswalk seems to be more, I don't know, more noticeable to drivers than an unpainted crosswalk.
That's true.
And so when we say, okay, if people ask about a crosswalk, I would look at, I don't have an opinion on this one, but yeah, we could, if we voted on it, ask the city council to ask Public Works to put in a crosswalk. If we wanted, correct? Am I right? Okay. So
No.
and sometimes it seems to me that the crosswalks would be better, if nothing else, public relations work than not. Putting one in there at McClure. Across Lock Haven, is that what we're talking about?
Well, yeah.
I know the argument would be it probably won't make any difference.
No, that's not the name of the street.
Oh, what is the street?
And it's not the name of the street. It's not McClure. It's,
It goes into Inland Shores.
yeah, well, it goes into Inland Shores, and then it's the back entrance to McNeary Estates.
Yeah.
So, it's not
I haven't got my
McClure.
map.
It's,
Matt's got it up.
no, the teacher that it's named after was Mickey something. Well, then Mickey McClure.
McClure
goes down to the backside of Stats Lake and the entrance into.
Yeah, okay, then
That's
they just mentioned casually,
Is that what we have?
that maybe a crosswalk across McClure.
Oh, McClure. Oh, here.
Because now we have one across Lock Haven with the
Yeah.
flashing lights. They're wanting a painted one across. And it's like, the only time there's really traffic there, school time. And it wasn't really a want, it was, this is wonderful, but we did see this. And the PTC, the parents
Yeah,
were all for the flashing light, and they feel that it really has
So
helped
we have a
the
flashing light
kids
there.
crossing. And I did talk with the
Going across Lock Haven, I don't think they have.
crossing guard, and it just enhanced her ability. So it was a positive, nothing but positives.
And to real quickly address crosswalks, us putting them in just here, there, and wherever
Yeah.
there's a point and whatnot. Bill's against that, it gives people a false sense of security, and that's one of the main reasons. You see it and you just feel you can go in it, and then you're caught off guard, you're not at an intersection, you're not, placement of it. So that's where that comes from, as far as just having.
I know, I'm just, I guess my point is, I don't quite agree with that. I probably, is there any research, not research, but statistical information that say crosswalks are safer than not crosswalking?
I looked that up. I talked to a traffic engineer at ODOT and
And?
he says, depends how you interpret the information.
Oh, well,
He says some
and-
engineers interpret it to be fine and some interpret it to be more dangerous.
And
So-
in this case, you're not,
I'm on a
sorry.
McClure. Go ahead.
Counselor Kohler?
count.
Thank you, Chair Salzbar. We, as a council, we did authorize a traffic study on Lock Haven as to determine if there needs to be another crosswalk there. And the traffic study indicated that it would not be an advantage to have an additional crosswalk.
Where?
Coming out of McNary High School,
Oh, up there, okay, yeah.
but Bundy is closer to the road where the speed flashing light is Bundy, but McClure, there's already a crosswalk there, and there's a
Yeah.
traffic guard there during,
Mike, how much,
during-
if I asked, assuming you had to do it, and we said we're gonna put a crosswalk, I don't care, anywhere, across a main River Road or Lock Haven, how much would it cost for the paint? Each,
It's not painted, it's thermal.
how much would it cost?
I don't know, I'd have to find out.
But
Because I think if you could make a whole lot of people happy for $5,000, it may be worth it.
But-
If it's 50,000, I don't know. I need a dollar
Well,
amount.
I'm gonna just say that the traffic study would have shown us, because we did a traffic study, it would have identified if they recommended one to be there as well.
Right.
So they paid attention to the kids who go to the bus stop and cross McClure.
Yeah,
So it
we
must
got
not have been
that.
enough.
And
We
they,
understand
They would have
that
told
one.
us and recommended to Public Works, am I correct on that, Mike?
and they did talk with the school officials, so, this was kind of an afterthought. The street itself, it's kind of a dead-end street, because it butts it into, McNary Estate, so there's not a lot of, I guess you could really floor it, but there's really not a lot of speed, and not a volume of traffic as compared to our people that were talking about, Park Meadow. This one just doesn't have it. So I would say our project, based on the study and the results and the feedback from the users, it was a success.
And one thing, if I can add real quick, there is going to be a street light put over that ADA ramp there. PG is going to install that. That was part of this project. We just got the letter of agreement signed back to PGE. So shortly, they had the pole there, they had to move the pole, but they are going to put an LED light that's coming out across where that ramp is, where the kids press the button to cross the street. So
Excellent.
that's on its way.
It's even extra.
Yeah.
Well, since that's the only lingering part of the project, I think we can move this on to completed and mark it as a success for us, Dawn. Thank you. All right, we should pat ourselves on the back for that one. It's the first
Yeah,
one
we
we
got
worked
something
through recently. Okay, moving on. That was a very good discussion. Alder at Brooks, the city staff data was gonna come last month, but I know we didn't have time. Did we get any feedback from the 3 months on that one?
Which staff? Oh, that was Mike.
From Alder,
Oh.
the speed survey,
Yeah,
there was a drop in higher speeds, yes.
okay. Do we have any further concerns there?
Outside of just ordinary, enforcement,
Mm.
I don't think there was enough. I used to sit there a lot and it was quite productive and now it
Good, we like boring, right?
Really?
Okay,
there is a noticeable difference, but to keep people from being complacent and getting into old habits, I will still sit there periodically.
well, we thank you for that. All right, we can,
Excuse me, so is there a permanent speed board there on,
Yes,
on
that's-
Alder?
There's actually two, one both as you're going east, east
North.
or westbound on
Okay.
Alden.
Okay, thank you.
Your mics.
Oh, sorry.
Counselor Kohler?
Nobody can hear me.
Counselor Kohler?
Thank you, Chair Tammy. I am the liaison for the Southeast Kaiser Neighborhood Association, where they came and requested that to begin with. And so I go to their meetings, and they have talked very positively about having that there, and that it has made a positive difference. So I think that we chalk that one up as a win.
Excellent. We like the wins. Thank you for letting us know. All right, we can retire that one too. Moving on. Signs along the bike path. Hirsch, there's a note that you were going to talk about this.
I was gonna check with the county, see if they might, and the answer is no.
No? Okay, well,
Can I ask,
It's an ODOT project.
right.
right, except they said they weren't gonna do it. My last recall. I have a problem with that. I really don't know what the signs look like or what we're putting in. And it seemed to me it would be nice if we had this thing written out about how many signs, where they're gonna be located. And Mike's, we know how much it's gonna cost to install one. If that's all written down somewhere, that we could take it back, the same proposal, back to ODOT, hand it to them and say, will you do this? Or put it in a proposal or something. But is that all written out somewhere?
Pat,
And could we see it?
I've gotten all that information a handful of times over the years, and it's gotten to Jenna, and Jenna and Bill have talked about it, but then it's kind of stalled because they wanted us to find thousands of dollars more worth of
Right.
projects because it was too low hanging for them to take the time to do anything.
Right.
And it was like, well,
I contacted someone who used to be with ODOT and said that was not a legitimate way to deny the project.
okay,
They
well
were
then,
supposed to, anyway, and they gave me some suggestions of who that project should go to other than the people we've been talking to.
so how about I get you that information and you can see what we had, how many signs,
Slip
where
it
they're
under
located,
somebody's
the prices
door,
from,
yeah.
well,
I know.
yeah,
Yeah, because you have them all, because we,
yeah.
If it's just, I just was in one place, and if
It's-
suppose I just happened to be walking in there one day to pick up my,
Come by and see me, and yeah, it's
Drop it
gotten a
on
lot better
somebody's
from
desk.
Hirsch's scribbles and Pat Fisher's, and it's actually typed out now, and it goes 1 through 8 or whatever it is, so it's
Okay, yeah.
pretty clear to read and understand, and the maps have stars where they go along the
okay, I'll stop
pathway.
by and see you.
Okay,
so the county, what are you talking about? That's,
Okay,
And then then we can bring it up next month or the next meeting and decide if we have another route than talking to the gal we've talked to before.
okay, if you have any progress, definitely bring it forward. Otherwise, I feel like the only result left is to
We'll drop it, yeah.
have a fundraiser. We're not talking much money here.
We're talking, we still have to get ODOT's approval,
It's
and they
their
said
land.
no.
But they approve the signs, correct? They're just not funding.
you know, they approved the signs, but they wanted to expand off of that and put in rest areas for bike stops and add thousands of dollars to that, and that would take, if somebody would like to do some research, but I think with that, we would then maintain those areas if we installed those, and then it went from just a couple of signs to no, because we're already putting them out of our jurisdiction.
Yeah.
I want to make sure I understand what you just said. So you're saying the project's not big enough for them?
Yes.
Correct.
That's what
Okay,
they
so,
said.
so what's their range? 25,000, 100,000?
10,000 and up.
Bill's been dealing with it, I was just asking
Okay.
the signs together.
I mean, it seems like somebody maybe has to have a conversation with them about, you know, the importance of this and what their limit is.
I bet we have a city councilor with a lot of clout too. Oh,
Yes, sir?
Since I was on this original project from the very beginning, it is ODOT land, they maintain it, et cetera, et cetera. But we wanted signage similar to what Salem does for their facilities. It's not commercial signage of any what. And it was, first time we brought it up, it was, no, the city can't do it. Well, then the ODOT came to Jenna from ODOT, said, oh yeah, why don't you, if you guys maintain it, we'll pay for it. Then it changed that from what did we have, 3,000 or something like that, at least initially, to wanting more than $25,000. And then we would be stuck maintaining benches, whatever, this, that, and the other thing. And it was just, no. To me, it's more of an issue that goes beyond ODOT, maybe to our legislative representatives at this point in time, because it was a simple, easy project that they just didn't want to do the paperwork.
well, let's take another run at it. We haven't got anything to lose.
No.
Okay.
I'll get it together and see if
I-
I make it into a proposal or,
I'm not sure what this project accomplishes. And my understanding of the reluctance on the part of the Oregon Department of Transportation was simply that for a very low dollar amount, a couple $1,000s, that procedurally, administratively, it was going to cost them so much to carry out that it just wasn't, they didn't feel it was worth their while. If that happened to be true, and we felt that the signs were that important that we would just install them, I don't know whether
Well-
they would have problems with that or not. But anyway,
let's try it again.
one of my bottom lines is I don't understand what this does for the city.
Oh, well, I could answer that part because I ride on, or used to ride on that bike path. If you're new to it, like the kids I was with, they didn't know when to get off and where that rut off the side went. They didn't realize it went to Kaiser Road, or they didn't realize if they took the wrong turn, they ended up on top of the I-5 on-ramp. If there is some need for people, if somebody's new to it, needs to know where to go. It wasn't a big cost, it's ODOT's property. It seems like, in my mind, it's something they should have done when they put the thing in to begin with. And they didn't. And then we get more of a push-pull with ODOT, and I don't give them very many breaks, I guess.
I am receptive to your argument there. I just recently discovered the bike path that went behind Target, so.
Oh, see, now I've been recommending that to people, and they said, well, where do I get off? I said, well, here's different, how do I get to the main part of the bike path? Because you have to go down on the sidewalks through the south end of Kaiser Station to get to the bike path.
Originally, well, it's in to direct, it creates a continuity, because if the Maple Street bike facility in Salem, as it goes around behind Home Depot, there's signage and all that, and it was just a consistent signage that we wanted to go all the way to the end of Target, but not directing it to Target or anything else, but to parks like the Memorial Park there, the other park, Miller Park in southeast Kaiser, and just the direction to go, because people were wanting, well, I want to go out north. Well, if they continue on Cherry, they're in a different area, so.
Different ways to go.
But I know our state representative was a little concerned about ODOT's, because there's the mini grants that, for other things, not for this, that's $2,000-3,000, no problem. So I don't think it's a bookkeeping thing, it's.
Petty cash. Anyway,
Let's move on.
I
That's-
always liked that project. Like,
Okay. So,
Okay.
note being that Dave will get back to us with his,
Yes, ideas.
yep, okay. Moving on to River Road intersections by the schools. This was the one. Is this for, oh, the changing of the 5-second timing? Mike, do you have any updates on that from Salem?
Yeah, I must have, for the crosswalks
Yeah,
along River Road, sorry, the next one I was tracking was somewhere else, and my mind was somewhere else, so. Yeah, actually, I sent an email to Eric Dustable with City of Salem, and to get the ball rolling even farther, because I hadn't heard much, long story short, is they will be doing River Road, so for people crossing River Road at all the intersections down, they will put a 2 to 3 second delay, and it takes about a week to do, and they'll notify me before they do that. So with Thanksgiving and Christmas and everything, I don't see it happening right away again, probably around January, but it was kind of neat. And I just happened to email him yesterday, not knowing if he'd get back, and he did, and said, hey, just send me something that you want it. Kaiser wants it, and I was like, okay. So that was neat, so.
excellent. Glad to hear that.
Yeah.
So let's just make a note to check back with you in January if we don't hear first that it's completed, and then we can retire that one. Excellent. Mr. de Blasi will be very happy to hear that. Were there any other locations besides River Road that we wanted to address this at?
No,
Locking.
just, that's a pretty big area, and I don't see there being any problems, but start with there, and I don't think it's a huge tax on Salem traffic engineers to, if we say, if we want to look into 14th and Lock Haven or somewhere else, we can do that, but let's just see what happens here. And I guess San Market Way and River is already that way. I was unaware of that, but I was told that it was, so, but no,
Excellent.
just River Road.
Okay, perfect. All right, the turf fields, what have we got here? The bus service.
I don't remember
That's new, I don't,
the turf field. There was something,
there's another one back here about the fields, but.
it has to do with how much, I haven't
The
gone and looked.
parking one's back farther.
Okay, that's not the parking
No,
issue?
No, that's not the parking issue.
This is the city bus.
Right.
I'm not sure why we have that in there.
Why, yeah, why? Do we think the bus needs to go down there? Was that?
There was a proposal, yeah, that the bus would go further along. Can you speak to that, Counselor?
Thank you, Chair Tammy. There's been some discussion with Chariots about having the bus go down there further. They're looking into the feasibility of having that work, how it would work, and they haven't got back to us yet about when they would actually do it, but they have looked at it and said, this might be something we'll be able to do, but that's been the extent of it at this point.
Just as a piece of information, why would we want a bus down there?
Just because the amount of people going to the turf fields now with the new development, that it'll help bring people there and back if they
Do
go
you
there.
think we're gonna have more people at turf fields than we do at the baseball parks? I'm just saying we don't do anything with buses for those kids, so.
I don't know, this was just something that Chariot said that they would
Okay,
look
all
into,
right.
so, but I don't think we really need to track it here. It's something we can just move to the out of scope like the other Chariots issue, because there's nothing for us to keep track of.
I don't think so.
Yeah, okay, let's move that over, Don.
It sounds like,
This one doesn't need to be tracked here, we could just move it to out of scope, and we'll just keep an ear on it.
The city bus one?
Yeah.
Okay.
a traffic study for the turf fields, okay.
Well, those things, okay, so I guess that's two different thoughts here. The buses have nothing to do with the traffic study. I know I brought up concerns about the additional traffic we're gonna see at the turf fields. but that's not, and I think the
Oh,
bus
okay.
was a solution to that potential problem, but I really don't see them as related. And,
Okay.
this is my last meeting, so do you folks want to keep it on here, or what do you want to do with this?
It's one of those things that's not gonna, we don't even, I mean, we won't really even know if there's, we don't even know if there's a problem.
Right, so let's
Yeah.
just move it, and if there becomes a problem, you add it.
We could bring it up
I love it.
again.
Okay.
We'll know more in the spring.
Once they start using it.
Okay, moving on to green paint at Lock Haven and River Road. Hirsch,
Yes.
what'd you learn?
Went to city council and, they had, earlier denied our, request because it would change some of the widths and stuff of the lanes on both sides and, would require a study, which does cost. So that's why city council said no. And I propose, well, you're gonna have to repaint some of this in the normal cycle. Could you put green in? And the answer was yes. Bill said, yes, we can do that next time. So I'd like to keep that on there so we can monitor it when their cycle comes.
Okay,
You wouldn't be changing the measurements or anything.
Are we talking solid green?
We're
Well,
talking for the
Striped
turn
green
lane,
or
right?
green
Whatever.
bike lane?
yeah,
No, I mean, what,
The same color they got
yeah,
in Salem.
okay.
yeah.
Whatever.
I wanted
this
orange,
river-
but. we
I
have to
know,
go-
you lost that, yeah, I know.
But just simple green.
That's River and Lock Haven?
All four sides, 4 rows,
Well, clearly on the Lock Haven,
heading west.
No,
west.
I understand what you're talking about, but so it won't be paint, it would be an application that's put down that is rather expensive, because paint just, the bikes will be slippery and it
well,
wears
they'll
right
still
off,
be-
so.
As the normal, paint cycle with Marion County does it.
Yeah, they don't, okay, I'll talk to Bill.
Yeah, that, he said, yeah, we could do that. That would avoid having to get a traffic study as we kind of proposed. And because we were talking about changing the lanes and stuff.
Yeah.
We're just, keep it the way it is, can we put the green in?
There's still some more involved with that, because that's quite an expensive procedure, so it's more than having Marion County just put some green paint in there,
Well-
is all I'm saying. So it's a budget item that's, we'll have to figure out what that is and have a private contractor do that, so that's, I was unaware.
Will you talk to Bill and find out what he
Yeah.
understands that to be and
Yeah,
come back? and
I'm
let
just,
us
I just
know?
want to be clear that it is not just paint, and Marion County doesn't do that
At the
procedure.
council meeting, he said, yeah, we could do that.
Okay.
I
But
want
as
to
part of the normal
note that,
cycle, not a special, and right now you don't want to do painting anyway.
I want to note that this I think is addressed later in this spreadsheet. And there's a footnote that says green paint on hash marks will cost about $29,000 in 4 areas. Bill Lawyer is working on budgeting for this.
Yeah.
That's just.
So we have it on here twice.
Creekside. Okay, that's back here.
That's it,
Thank you for catching that.
yeah.
Um,
So it's something we should continue to monitor.
Sure, and it's marked as monitor later in the packet, but what is this one regarding then? Is this the traffic study to change the width of the lanes there?
I think so.
So do you want to keep both of these on here?
Both of them,
I would just keep the one,
the big one?
yeah.
Okay,
And then he is going to,
that one.
work, and Mike's gonna double check
Yeah.
with Bill. But we're talking 2025.
Right. So, Don, let's just retire this one. Thank you. All right. Yes.
Can we move that red comment, though, that is applicable, that's on that one to the other one? Because it says funding will be in 2025. Can we add that to
Oh,
the-
yeah, like combine them. Let's just combine those and if somebody remembers something that's different, you can bring it up again. All right, we good? We're good. Moving on, Harmony Drive. Officer Powell, you did a site visit. What more can you tell us about here?
So I did do the speed survey. I did not bring, I talked about it last month, I had some details. I don't have it in front of me right now for the exact numbers. Based on today's earlier conversation and the process for that we ended up with that application, I'm not sure that it would meet the requirement of the vehicle traffic.
Okay.
I haven't done that tally though to confirm.
Do you want to just get back to us with that?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's, there's no meeting in December,
So it'll be January.
so January, okay.
Okay, perfect. Willow Lake Road. Yellow painted curbs, Mike?
That was done on
What is this one?
Did you say Willow Lake Road?
Yeah.
So we've,
that. It's done.
Yeah, we
we've talked about it,
that.
I think, every meeting. I think it just needs to go off. We
Yeah.
looked at it quite a long while ago.
Hirsch, what do you have?
Well, that's my street.
Right.
Mike and Public Works have, when you turn off Windsor Island onto Willow Lake, there's no parking on one side that you put in because of the big trucks turning in and such. But there's a kind of a little crook in Willow Lake, and cars are parking there, and with the trucks and everything, it does narrow it down, and with people parking at the apartment, it's really less than a single lane. But what has happened, and this is where I think Ben got involved, is there's been 2 cars parked there that got bashed in at night, people running into them, and one car got bumped up. It was a little Toyota, and bumped up onto the curb and sat there for enough time for Ben to come by and put his tag on it. And I think the word finally got out into the apartments, don't park there. So I think natural consequences has helped.
Okay, so,
Now, is there a curb there?
Yeah,
So, and it's like, what, 15, is there a distance from the corner or anything, or just a bad place?
it's as far as the city can from the corner. They've already done,
They
but past that.
painted it yellow?
But now there's this little curve in the road.
So theoretically, they could paint it yellow. I mean, what would we do to stop people from parking there?
Well, I think what's happened is 2 cars that got bashed.
Well, I know, but public's memory is very short-term.
well, you said there's no problem right now.
There's no
Then
problem.
let's take this off, and then if it becomes a thing,
Yeah.
We're here. okay, excellent. Okay, yep, the next one we are good with. We don't have to run through all of the need further analysis, right? Because this is just hanging out. Does anyone have anything?
So, these are all done, right?
I can update you on the parking thing.
Which
Oh,
one?
what you got first? He's gonna speak to Little Leagues.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk about the Little League parking issues. So, I was not aware that there was a traffic impact study done over there. Okay. So I called, I think Parks and Rec, his name is Johnson? Robert Johnson, thank you. I called Robert Johnson about the parking issue at the Little League field. And from what he said to me, Mike, before they do anything with the gravel parking lot, they got to put in some sort of French drain there, is what he said to me. And he said, until we have money for the French drain, that's not going to be a regular parking lot, paved over and everything else. And so what you have during multiple baseball games or softball games that are going on there is people don't park like they should. So, where there's lines on the other side, it's great. On that one, not so much. So, and then you get people parking kind of into the grass and things like that. So I looked at it when there was a lot of people there. So part of the issue can be fixed, I think, when we figure out the money for the French drain first, and then we look at actually maybe paving it second. And I know that's a lot of money. It's a big lot. So I'm not suggesting we do that. I'm just saying the parking issue over there isn't going to get solved until those 2 things happen. And so doesn't really need to be on here as long as somebody, Mike or Robert Johnson, has the French drain on their list of to-dos.
Counselor Kohler?
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Myers, one of the things that I've noticed, I've been working on the Little League Task Force and group for over 6 years. One of the studies that we looked at is if we paved that and striped it, there would actually be less parking spots than there is today. So even paving that and striping it really isn't going to solve that problem.
And I went
Then
and-
let's take it off.
I spoke with the Parks Department about their Parks Committee about this also, and they said they would look into the contract of the. Yeah, and then, so if anyone wants to keep carrying this torch, I would go work with
Yes.
Parks. Will you work with?
I have, because it irks me every time I go up there. If I was giving tickets for missed parking, or you could give 20 every night there's a baseball game. They're parked in the street, blocking pedestrian and bike transportation movement, causing people to ride their bikes on basically a one-way street. And it's dangerous, and when I look at it, we've got the space to put in the parking lot. We just don't need quite so many baseball fields.
And
I'm just saying that somebody needs to make a decision about that. Can we park somewhere else and bus people in there?
Counselor Kohler, Dan?
Or do we just say we're allowing 20 or whatever, 100 cars in and that's it?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll keep it on my list. Thank you, Dave,
That's just one of those.
and happy to work with you in any way possible. So, yeah, all right, thanks, moving
Okay,
on.
so we're keeping it on the list.
Yes.
All right. Does anyone have any others on this list that we want to talk about?
On this,
Yeah, we're past the active projects. The rest are just here.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if we need to add it or not. Depends upon how people feel. I have a question first. Is there a portable speed radar thingamajig we could have that would give tickets? Is there such a thing? Well, I keep getting tickets in
I'm not the
Woodburn,
answer, but I don't think so.
I know it's permanent up there, but
Well, yeah, there are some cities that do have that
Speed.
device, but we don't. We don't have any of it, and it's
true.
typically done through that Red Flex, a separate company.
yeah, right.
That there's a whole lot of behind the scenes and overhead that would be involved.
yes,
And yeah, you can do that. It is a possibility.
yeah. That was the first question.
And where were you,
I'd run it down and put it on Park Meadow today, but, I mean, I don't know. I was just saying, people keep coming up and mentioning, everybody's speeding. I don't know really if they are or not, but if we had one that would give tickets and you could move it down on Park Meadow for a month, maybe we'd catch some people, maybe not. You can't be, and I appreciate what you do, but you can't be everywhere all at once. And if we have an emergency on River Road, you're gonna be there.
if it's traffic related,
If
yeah.
it's traffic related, you have to be there. Well, that leaves the rest of town unprotected.
Well, we're just gonna follow the process we have, Dave, and people can come and
No,
speak
this
to us.
would, I'm just wondering, is that, first off, I didn't even know if it existed for sure, because all the ones I run into were permanent. And so now, if it was possible, I would think that should be investigated as a solution to some of the problems people bring to us.
Well, that's not for this committee, but if you wanna bring it to city council,
Okay.
yeah,
Is that where it goes?
okay.
That's
See
where,
what-
yeah,
yes.
that's,
All right. I'll go
because
do
it's a big budget item.
it. Oh, I know that.
Counselor Kohler.
Thank you, Chair. This is something we have discussed in council, and Chief Teague, when he was here, schooled us pretty well on how these work, and they're very expensive, and the city, somebody said, well, look at the money that we can make on that. It would be pennies that we would make on that if we made anything at all. And he just said that it was a losing proposition and wasn't worth it for us to pursue it any further. Chief Teague said that. So I don't think that we're looking at like the sign like on Marion Street Bridge where if you go through there when it's red, that it sends you a ticket. We're not looking at anything like that. It's not feasible. It would be cost prohibitive.
Thank you. All right, I think in my notes, I have a few to add that were brought to my attention. Parking too close to the stop sign on Marigold at 12th. I got an email at some point. I know I've been gone for a couple months, I feel like. Maybe only missed one, but. Stop sign there. It's just something that can be looked into. It doesn't have to go through the process. I just was
There
hoping.
is a stop sign of the,
No, they're parking too close to it.
They're parking too close to it. Can we just get that looked at?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure that process, but that would be online. They can online report for an illegal parking vehicle, and that's one of my other duties, along with, code enforcement Crosby, he can go out and take a look at.
Okay.
But stop signs typically have a 50-foot stay back from. But yeah, I've been unaware, it's not on my radar for it.
Okay. I don't recall if, I get emails from Mayor Clark sometimes when she's chatting with people that they bring to her attention and she gives to me to bring up here. So if I'm remembering correctly, the two that I'm gonna mention, that one came from there, so I don't know who it even was.
I guess I would add that maybe the quicker way to get a response, rather than going through all these chains, is there's an online reporting for the police department to do that,
Okay,
so,
but since it's here now, is it something?
yeah.
Okay, perfect, that's all I'm asking, thank you. And Park Meadow between River Road and the school? That's this, so never mind, we're good, okay. Moving on. The neighborhood traffic management I asked Dawn to put this on here just because I wanted to bring up what I already said, that, the new plan is on the website, but, we don't have the applications up and running just yet. Do we have any update on that, Mike, do you know? Adam hasn't gotten back to me on a timeline.
No, a while ago, a couple weeks ago, we got the new program on there and the application, and I talked about the next steps as far as fillable and didn't really hear anything. I don't know who is overseeing that. I just need to have some discussion and see where that's going, so
Okay.
I don't have.
I'll just keep
It's somewhere.
looking into it. Okay. All right, committee member input. Who wants to go first? Mr. Philbrick, do you have anything?
Yeah, actually, tonight I have maybe three things. One is that this week, and I've been participating with the Safe Routes to School program over at Harrod in West Salem. And this year in the 24-25 school year, there's going to be 6 schools that are covered through that. It's kind of a neat program. A lot of thanks goes to Cycle Oregon that provides basically up to like 60 bikes for the school kids, and it's done in conjunction with the PE teachers in the different schools. I was pleased to hear that in March, and I'm glad the folks from Park Meadow are still here, because Clear Lake is the one school in Kaiser that will be doing that program this year. So I've been involved in 2 different schools. This one was younger kids, more kindergarten through 2nd grade. So there it was balance bikes and really learning how to ride. Previously, it was older kids, more 3rd through 5th, and there it was very much bike safety. And certainly the ultimate goal of the program is trying to both introduce kids to being more active and hopefully riding to school. So certainly making Park Meadow safe for kids to be actually walking and biking and to get to school would be certainly one of the ultimate objectives of that program. But it's a good program. And certainly the first day is always spent getting the kids in helmets, and then after that, a lot of activity. Second thing I had was a thank you to Mike, the City of Kaiser, and homeowner I'm not sure exactly what the chain was, but a couple of months ago, I brought up the ivy that was in the bike lane on Verda Lane, and that has been cleared off, and it's was a short stretch, but I think it feels a lot safer riding there because you don't have to go out in the traffic lane, and so thank you.
Good, I'm glad you noticed that. I had 3 things I was going to talk about later, and I just hit all 3 of them through our discussion, so, yeah. Perfect.
Thank you.
Complete your bingo card.
And the third thing was also is a positive thing. For quite a while, I've been trying to, in a low-key way, work to improve knowledge and compliance with Oregon's safe passing law. The Oregon Department of Transportation has come up with a newer brochure, which is not perfect, but I think it's a lot better on giving direction to drivers as to how to ride safely or drive safely and legally around bicycles. So I was pleased with that, and I'm hopeful. I've been trying to get them to come up with a traffic sign that would remind drivers as to what their responsibilities are in passing a bike. I think, again, it's not going to be perfect, but I think there's something in the works pretty soon will be available. So I'm pleased with that. And this applies, my concern has been largely on roads where the speeds are above 35 miles an hour. So the Oregon has a law that requires drivers give fall-over distance to cyclists in that situation, but I don't think it's particularly well-known or complied with. So
Thank you for all that.
that's all I have.
All right. Brenda?
I will mention on that, following the bikes, that there was a garbage truck heading north on Wheatland Road outside the city limits. The speed limit kicks up, I think it's to 45 or 50, I don't know. And there was a bicyclist, and for whatever, a lot of debris in the bike lane, he was pretty much on the line. And the garbage truck stayed behind him for about 3 blocks until the bicyclist pulled off and everybody by. And we only had, couldn't be more than 15 cars backed up behind the garbage truck that short period of time. But they do follow that, so at least that group knew the rules, so it's kind of nice to see.
To follow up on it, Officer Leday and I met with the sanitation companies to talk about stuff, and them and the gravel company.
Oh, yeah.
They have all been, now, you know, if there's a Jippo truck driver, they may not know the rules, but there's enforcement at the higher level in the sanitation companies here in Kaiser that serve Kaiser.
Yeah, nice.
Glad to hear this. Brenda, nothing? Matt, what have you got?
A couple of things. I need to talk to you after this about the Verda Lane project. You mentioned that, so we'll just do that offline, and then Councilman, if you and I can get together to talk Little League parking just for a minute, so I'm up to speed. One of the things I wanted to bring up is, as I'm a morning person, I get up early and I drive down Chippewa and either over to Starbucks to get my coffee or wherever. That intersection there, if you're going, I guess it's east or coming, driving west, right there on Yulee. Oh, thank you.
Eulali?
Yeah, Eulali, thank you. Those, whatever they're called, the traffic, the things that are in the street that.
Cement things?
Cement
The
things,
island.
they're really hard to see.
Islands, yeah.
The cement islands. Now, I'm not saying we put up any lights, but they're really hard to see at night. And I'm not sure what we could do, or should do, but, I've seen people drive right over them. And as they're making a turn, or they're coming straight, or whatever, especially when it's dark. So they're just hard to see.
Is that ours or ODOT's?
Is that ours or ODOT's?
You're on Lock Haven, are you on Lock Haven just before the railroad tracks?
No, Chippewa and Eulali, as you either turn into or you're going straight, either way.
Where the buses are.
After the bus station, that's Chippewa.
Yeah.
So I guess it's Lock Haven. Yeah,
Lock Haven at Eulalie.
Lock Haven
No,
at
no,
Eulalie.
no, 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 this is Chemawa at Eulalie.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. At Kaiser Station.
Kaiser
Yeah.
Station
The
intersection.
Kaiser
all of
Station
them.
intersection is what I'm talking about. I'm just
I know
saying,
what you mean. Too.
yeah, see, right here.
By the gas station.
Well, so there's, oh,
I don't know what we should do. That's why we're here. But, you know, I can tell you those islands are hard to see.
Is that our jurisdiction?
Is it our jurisdiction?
if it's east of the railroad tracks, then no, but depending upon what side of the street, if it's on the stadium side, or I just have to go look into it. So there's some gray areas in there. I know a bunch of different islands, and you're right, they don't have yellow paint around the curbs on them and whatnot. And we have merge signs and whatnot that get hit that are on the islands and whatnot. So I'll have to go get my bearing where I'm at Eulalie and
Yeah.
see.
So I think they're on both sides of the street, of the train tracks there, so.
So, Mike, if they're ours, we could recommend that they be, I don't know, we could bring it up whether or not we should think they should be painted.
Yeah.
Or, and if they're ODOTs, then what do we do? It may not cost $10,000.
Let me look at it and we'll
Yeah,
figure
let's,
something
Mike,
out.
you look at it, or we can look at it together. The last thing I have, I'd like to thank citizens for coming in. That's why we're here, to work these issues together. And we heard you and I made some notes, so thank you for coming in. And I'd like to thank Tammy for being patient with me as a new member, so thank you.
Great,
Yeah.
welcome.
You're up, Dave. We only got,
Mr.
well,
Dempster?
No more.
No
I already
more?
have my
Okay.
say.
Okay. Hirsch?
I just wanted to follow up on something David said about Cycle Oregon. It's really a big thanks to Heidi Manla from ODOT, who provided the huge grant and encouraged Cycle Oregon to buy those bikes for the kids.
Oh, yeah.
And Heidi has been very, very aggressive in doing literature, back to her section that budgeted for the literature that David has, which we passed out at our October open house at the fire hall. And we did, 40 helmet fittings?
About, yeah.
Go ahead, friend.
I just want to say I'm really thankful for Tammy Saldivar. This is her last meeting with us, and I'm really grateful for all that you've done for our committee with the traffic plan. I know that was a huge, huge endeavor, and I'm really grateful that you were our chair for this past year, so thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It was my pleasure. I enjoyed every minute. I did, I enjoyed it. Hirsch, did you have any?
No, I have no more.
Okay. I have a couple things. Okay, so the last time I was here, the red light camera discussion came up, and then the webinar was shared for us to watch again. Did any of you watch that?
What?
Yes, okay, I did too. I took some notes, so I'm gonna just share my notes with the group. So we agreed that the staff should conduct research again to find the cost and the effectiveness. Just leaving that hang out there, I'm not asking a question. But from the webinar, I learned that the effort for this needs to be led by law enforcement anyway. It really has nothing to do with us. The need to prove that speeding is an issue, or we need to prove that speeding is an issue to even warrant putting them in, will need to be 11 plus miles of speed over to be a citation anyway. We need a dedicated officer or representative to manage the program, which means they have to review, issue citations, go to court, and it sounds like we're not currently staffed for that position at the moment. We have to really think about what the problem is we're trying to solve and where that is. Does the data support that there's a problem? And in short, our committee will support whatever the city decides, but we really don't have a position on this. Does anyone have anything to add to that? Officer Powell,
I can speak in generalities. Yes, various streets will have speeding issues forever. But we don't have the volume of those streets like Salem does to pay for this system. the amount of overhead and behind the scenes, extra personnel, court costs, everything is gonna be very prohibitive. Due to just literally, we'll use Harmony Road. Maybe you might issue 5 or 10 tickets a week based on the study. It wouldn't, and you have to put them in fixed spots based on this red flex stuff at 11 miles an hour. And they take their cut. So then what left is for the city is not a whole lot. And in speaking with the sergeant in Salem, who oversees that, I didn't get to speak at length, but in our quick little passing, he suggested don't.
Okay.
I haven't, just, this, I had this down, and you said it's not. This thing about 11 miles an hour over, it bothers me. If you have a 25 mile an hour speed limit, that means it's really a 36. And if you have a 35, it's really a 46 miles per hour. My position, and that's from teaching school for many, many years, either make a rule and stick by it reasonably close. But if you're not gonna enforce it, change it. So if you're not gonna throw kids out of class until they're 9 minutes late, then, okay, then just make it the rule, that's the rule. And I'm kind of bothered by, you're not gonna give a citation until it's 10, 11 over. I'm going, well, why not 20%? Like, if it's a 35, let's start issuing tickets at 42 miles an hour instead of 46. And I don't know where the 11 miles per hour came from. I mean, is it just you guys are worked to death anyway. And I know giving more tickets that's all what that would generate.
Well, there is a statute for 1 to 10 over. You can't, that's the lower violation.
You can't
You can issue a citation 1 to 10. 25 by the letter of the law does mean 25, it's the limit. But speedometers, tire sizes, everything changes, and it's not necessarily calibrated per vehicle.
Right.
So I'm a LiDAR instructor as well. So 3 miles an hour is at least the minimum. We don't have the staffing, the court costs, everything else to justify that. That's like
So
the very
it's
low
a
level.
financial reason we're not enforcing the law.
Well,
As it's written.
there's more to it than just the financial
Well, I
side.
mean, the mechanic, and plus you could just be wrong. But we're talking about 7 miles per hour or 30 miles per hour in a 25. Or if you have a 35 mile an hour speed limit and we're not looking at the people doing 45?
At
10 miles over the speed limit, we're not gonna.
I start stopping at 10.
Okay, but I mean, you could start, if you wanted, you could start stopping at 40.
I could, and I would probably never get off the block between Verda and River.
And that's because of manpower.
Yes. I mean, I literally, you would be chasing your tail. You would never make it across City of Kaiser.
I know that, but the side issue is, then we've decided, because of finances, the city council decided not to enforce those laws.
I don't think
To
it's
the-
city councils, it's,
They're the ones that gave the money for the police department. Correct? I mean,
but on the flip side, if we start issuing citations at 7 miles an hour, we're gonna lose the support of the public.
okay, how about 8? And where did 11 come from? Never mind,
Yeah.
just drop it.
Thank you, okay. Hirsch?
Just a follow-up on the Marion County Rural Transportation Plan.com is asking for input from the community. I'm on that committee. So we're real early, but we're asking for input, and the survey is on the Marion County Public Works website.
The questionnaire we got? We got another one, questionnaire from ODOT about something.
No, this is Marion County.
Oh,
for the
okay.
And then the SCATS is also doing a
Survey,
survey.
that's where it
Yep,
was.
and theirs is on their MTIP update webpage.
Yeah, if you Google SCATS TIP, you'll find it.
Right, yeah.
That was
So
on
I
my
just
notes.
wanted to mention both of those are out there for citizens to give input, especially rural, Marion County, because that's dealing with our rural roads.
Okay,
Like from Jack Road to Brook Lake Road.
thank you. Okay, couple more notes I have. Our youth liaison, Ethan, as he moved on and no longer is youth and he's in college. Ethan, if you're hearing us, thank you for sharing with us and remembering that we had asked, how to do outreach to get somebody to sit with us. And so he provided for us this flyer, which is in the back of the
Yep.
booklet. And he was gonna be here, but he had some car trouble, so he could not speak to it. And I did check the QR code to see where that led us, and it did take us to the city website for the recruitment. So, what can we do with this? Brenda, I know you talked to,
I did. I talked to-
Counselor Reed.
Yeah, I did talk to her, so I think what we could do is email it to her and then, or have a discussion with her about how to get it to the leadership classes.
Okay.
Because that's where she would, that's where she usually recruits.
Would you mind doing that?
Yeah, I could do that.
Okay. Council Color?
Another place might be the National Honor Society group.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Well, I hope we find someone who wants to join our team. Thank you, Ethan, again, for creating that for us. I really like it. It looks very professional. Thank you. Okay, next note, middle school bike racks. I had this on my list. Have we had any movement with that?
Which,
You wanted to put bike racks at the middle schools. Did anything come of that?
no,
Okay,
it's a school district thing,
okay,
but did talk with the Claggett Middle School teacher, principal, and
okay,
they're at least aware of it.
okay.
On the other bike racks at our parks, I did talk with Robert 2 months ago. We have the bike racks, of course, that we got from CTEC, and they're sitting in storage. They are going to use a few of them as part of the project at the turf fields. They're going to use a few of them, but the weather's not just perfect to do that. The other ones, specifically where I would like them to be over at the amphitheater area. Robert just didn't be able to find anybody, whether it's Eagle Scouts or somebody to help. However, I did a little asking, and the JROTC program would be willing to help in doing some installation. And I talked with Kevin Dial from the rec, who's kind of the overall coordinator. He said, well, this spring we'll do. So the racks will eventually get installed.
Excellent. Good job.
So,
I'm glad to hear it. I want to see those go to good use. Okay, pedestrian flags. This program is one the city allowed us to do a pilot on. And do you want to come speak to that? Greater Northeast is going to give it a whirl. Do I have the right one? Greater Northeast, right?
Hi. Tammy, Greater Northeast Kaiser. We are looking at doing it on Shamawa and McLeod. I believe it meets the speed requirements that are in place. Everything is set and I should have everything to make that happen in the next week. It's right there in front of Bona Vista.
Is there a marked crosswalk?
I don't believe so. And it's 30 miles an hour. It has to be under 35. Oh, it has to be 25?
More of a residential neighborhood.
I thought we discussed 30. 30 and under.
I don't have any information for you. We'll have to
Okay, so then I will connect with either you or Robert and we'll figure that out.
Okay.
But everything should be all set. And if there's another place that you can think of in our area that needs it more, just let me know. Because we're willing to make that different if it needs to be.
So did we say it needed to be in a crosswalk?
Uh-uh.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to clarify that.
No, it said that there can't be any form of traffic control already there, including a crosswalk, is how I worded it.
And you're saying Shamal and McLeod, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a very dangerous
Yeah.
intersection.
That's 5 lanes.
Yes, I'm aware. We went by there the other day. There was a 4-car pileup.
2.
Well, we saw 4 cars, so I don't know.
Somebody stopped to look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you already have students crossing there now, and that's why you want to implement this
Yeah,
application?
we've had several of the families reach out that live in that area that go to Kennedy, ask for support and how do we cross this road safely so that we can get our kids to and from school? Because they're right there in that new section that we annexed. Plus, we have the Bonaventure family housing right there as well.
I'm trying to remember if we put lane restrictions though on it. I don't have it in front of me either.
I don't think we did. But
Right.
again, I'm willing to work with Mike on putting that in a different spot if they both feel like it needs to be in a different spot, which Officer Powell is shaking his head yes.
Yeah,
So
we need to look at that.
I'm willing to meet up with you if you have a safer spot that you would like to see it. I mean, we can go closer to the church, but it's just that round curve right before the ballpark. Across from the church. Or if there's a different section that you would like us to.
And you're wanting to cross Shamala, right?
Yeah, we have families that live on the other side of Shamauer that have to cross there to walk down to the school. They either have to take Shamauer, which has no sidewalks. So typically they'd walk around McLeod and go down by the ballpark and cut through that way because it's a little safer. And that was my main reason for picking that spot.
I might have to request to talk personally or offline to where I can figure out where your people are coming from. And-
Okay.
And, maybe, I really have some concerns about that one.
I can
And
tell.
an unmarked crosswalk and 5 lanes, and I believe at that section, right, it's so close off of Lock Haven, I think it's a 35-mile-an-hour zone. I don't think it's turned to 30 quite yet. You might be, it's right in that area.
No, I think it is 35, and then it goes to 30 when it passes, just before the roundabout or before
Okay, so-
Arcade, so.
I'll connect with you.
Yeah, okay. I think you have my email as well.
I do.
Okay.
Okay, any other thoughts on this topic? Excellent. Thank you for coming forward and letting us know what's going on, and thank you for working with the committee on that. What was that sigh for? Oh, goodness.
My bedtime.
Okay, well, I'm trying to get through it. Had some soapboxes tonight, Dave.
Does that go under, projects? Like to be
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Let's put it on the spreadsheet as something to monitor, just as the program in general. I don't think there's discussion warranted, but, okay. And you'll leave, keeping an eye on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, from the little discussion, was concerned about just the safety of that intersection for pedestrians crossing. I mean, it sounded like what we were trying to do is to make a safe way for pedestrians to cross. And we were saying, maybe this isn't the right way, but it still sounds like there's an issue there.
Once there's a little more expansion, that is STEM for a traffic signal, just throwing that out there, but that doesn't help the situation right now. But eventually it will have one, but definitely not a spot for someone to grab flags and walk across the street. Would not be safe at all. We can pick some different areas to work with Tammy and go from there.
But you're right, that's something that I'm sure that they're keeping an eye on. Have there been any pedestrian versus cars at that location that you're aware of? Or
Not
car-
there. In fact, I don't even, well, it's Lock Haven, Shamawa, Kaiser Station. I don't recall any, I mean, without doing a lot of studying, I don't recall any pedestrian crashes there as
Okay.
well. But that that one has marked crosswalks and traffic signals that's only maybe 100 yards, 150 yards away. I would think they could cross on one side of the street and then go down Shamawa, but I know it's not very wide for crosswalks. Maybe a little bit farther, I guess, south from there towards Arcade, somewhere down there, maybe it's more 2 lanes, slower speed limits might be a little more appropriate. I'm not saying Arcade specifically, because that's kind of on a curve, but down that vicinity.
Okay. All right. Okay, just a few more things here. I put together the spreadsheet. I was trying to compile the grant opportunities for the committee to just keep an eye on as time progresses and we don't lose track of it. And so I know Dawn shared that with everybody. What you do with that is up to the remaining committee members. There wasn't as much I put on there as I thought that we talked about, so please add to it and do what you will with it. So another ball I started rolling was a conversation. It was brought up that people come here and bring to our attention speeding, and it's determined that there's no speeding, and so therefore we were, it was suggested that we make a video to kind of teach, educate on the difference between perception and reality of the numbers for these locations. And so when I mentioned it to Chief Copeland, he suggested the AV Club at McNary take this on as a project. So I did reach out to them and I did get a response that they would be interested in, as long as there's no immediate timeline on this, because it's something that could be done later in the year. And so I'm asking, will somebody champion this effort and take my baton? You want to take it?
I'm over at McNary a lot now with the JRTC, so.
Okay, then I'm gonna send to you, the communication we've had, and you can move forward with that, and,
Since they're part of our neighborhood association.
that's true. Yes, Officer Paul?
Which was great, if they want to do the audio, video, and visual, it's literally distance over time for the mathematical to figure out the speed on video, as long as they know how many frames per second it's shot. But before they do that, please have them see me, because in order to do a proper calculation, they can't be coming at you. You need to be more 90 degrees from the roadway.
No, I envision they would work with you on some level.
Okay.
Yeah, no, they would reach out to our KPD and find the right person to work with if it's.
And I've done similar things on a more archaic level, where I get, if someone keeps complaining over and over again about speed, and I go out there and I say, no, there's not. I've literally went there and not volunteered. I go there and sit in their driveway, they come out and they drink their coffee, and they will tell me what they believe the speed is, and I will use the radar. And I haven't had a complaint from that person in a couple of years.
Nice.
It was perception.
And that may be the direction that this video goes. I'm not sure what creativity they'll come up with, but if you're willing to work with them,
Yeah.
Hirsch will help you put that together. And then my
Card too.
my thoughts were, it can be put on our portion of the website so that if anyone comes to us and we want to redirect them to understand what that looks like, and the science behind it to some level, that they can go there to see that. So we're not always having to reinvent the wheel every time. Okay. Excellent. Thank you, Hirsch. Oh, that is all I had. That's it. Okay, well, listen, oh wait, we're not done. That's just my being done, I'm sorry. Staff report, Mike, you said we got through your bingo card, so you have nothing to add anymore?
I do not. Thank you, Chair Saldivar. The only thing I have to add is thank you for your time in the committee and everything you've done, and appreciated your work, so thank you.
Thank you. You got anything more for us, Officer Paul?
No, I think I've had plenty tonight.
Okay, you have been,
But again, I would appreciate your time in keeping everybody more directed and focused.
thank you. Counselor,
Thank you, Chair. There's a reason that I nominated you for the volunteer of the quarter, last quarter, and I appreciate all the extra time and effort that you put into all the stuff that you've done as chair and on this committee, so thank you. I do have a couple things just to let people know about. We we have some license plate readers that are, how close are they to being installed?
Well, we were, that's not a project I'm in charge of or even a part of. I've been informed of it. From the patrol standpoint of it, it was, well, it's all been installed, don't get me wrong, but they thought it would be fully online by September. It's November and I think they're waiting on outside vendors in order to get the Wi-Fi and IP address and everything all set up. Everything is installed, so.
Could you
Yeah, can you
explain that?
lighten us what it does?
Well, thank you for asking.
In 2 minutes.
So the license plate readers are being installed at several different locations and coming into and out of town. And what those will do is that will help our patrol officers particularly and some of the detectives, if they're looking for someone, if there's a bolo out and somebody says, here's what the license plate is, the license plate readers will read that and let somebody know this vehicle just crossed this intersection, they'll be able to locate them. So one of the reasons I wanted to bring it up in the Traffic Safety Bike Ped Committee is that there are some things going on to make our town safer. And so I just wanted to make you aware of that.
So it's cars coming into town?
Into or out of town.
Oh, both ways?
So the way they will work is, we'll say your car is stolen. We can manually enter that to watch for this through the system. And anywhere this vehicle hits in a license plate, it will tell us within a matter of seconds, alert to our phone if you set it up that way. And we will know where it's at. And sometimes it's been, I've used it, there's actually one in Kaiser, and we won't go into the specifics as far as what locations, because people will figure that out and avoid those. But there is one that's currently active in Kaiser. Had a hit and run, and they gave me a license plate, and I was able to come up with it and a subsequent arrest already. It's a great tool. It's very, very beneficial for a lot of different reasons.
But we don't get any money at all for running it?
No, it is not tracking. It is only if we are searching for a particular vehicle.
Okay, so it's a cost-only issue?
Well, I wouldn't say that, Mr. Dempster. It's not only a cost issue.
Well,
but
I
it's-
mean, I understand all the good parts of it, I've just,
But if you think about it, if you are a patrol officer and you're looking for a certain vehicle, it might save you weeks and months. So it's a huge cost savings tool that we have, plus
okay, I
plus the
didn't think of it
safety
that way.
issue.
That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah,
Well-
so as a council, as we looked at the costs involved in that, we looked at it and said, you know what, in the long run, this will save us money and help our citizens be safer, which made it real easy for us to say, do it.
Now, is that statewide, like the statewide yellow, what are they, yellow alerts, or?
No, it's not statewide. I know Salem has several sites already, and on the flip side, it's not only to help catch people, it's also to protect people, because
Yeah.
Salem's had this, I've been using it for, I don't know the time frame, but at least a year. And months ago, I had a pedestrian that had been struck, and they described this, it was a gold Toyota that was now missing its Toyota emblem. And they found this vehicle, and they provided the license plate, and they said, I know it was that car. Well, I was able to go back through Salem's cameras and track it. Prior to the crash, it was already missing that emblem. So it proved that that wasn't the suspect. So it's good, and it can protect people, and it can help catch people.
Okay. Sounds like more time for you.
It's a huge time savings for us.
Right. So I just wanted to bring it up and say, this is a great tool that we put together for traffic safety. So, next thing on my list, of course, to let you know, there are cameras in parks now, which will help with some graffiti and some other activities. And those, I believe, this should be online at this point. So that's pretty close. Let you know that there's a holiday lights parade coming up on the 14th. So there'll be some traffic occlusions in different places. And so 7 o'clock on Saturday, the 14th. So come on and enjoy the Holiday Lights Parade. If you want to do a little bit of running, the Turkey Dash is Thanksgiving morning. We meet at Lowe's at, I think it's 7:30 to do the dash, and there'll be a lot of fun stuff. So a lot of things are going on, in addition to watching people go what we think are faster than they should. But again, that's, as a council, we appreciate the time and effort that you all put in these different committees. I was a liaison for this committee for 4 years, and then they fired me for a while. And it's good to come back once in a while to say hi and happy times. So thank you.
We appreciate you coming and being part of our team tonight. So thank you for being here. Anyone have any final thoughts? If not, we are adjourned at 7:50.
Pretty good. Maybe under 2 hours.
We did make